My child, stop what you are doing right now and listen to me. I need you to hear what I am about to say more than you need anything else today. More than the next notification on your phone. More than the next thing on your to-do list. More than the conversation you are already half thinking about. I am Jesus, and I stopped you here deliberately. Not by accident, not by the random mechanics of an algorithm. By the intentional and loving hand of a Father who has been watching you carry something far too heavy for far too long, and who has decided that today is the day things begin to change. You did not find this prayer. This prayer found you. I want you to sit with that for a moment. Out of every piece of content competing for your attention right now, out of every video and every post and every headline, I led you here, because I know your name. I know your story. I know the season you are in right now with a level of detail that would take your breath away if you could see it fully. I know the version of your life that you show the world, and I know the version that exists in the quiet moments when no one else is around and the weight of everything feels almost impossible to carry. I see both versions, and I love them equally. I love the strong version of you that keeps showing up every day even when every part of you wants to stay in bed and give up on the whole thing. I love the tired version of you that lies awake at 3 in the morning running through every problem with no solution in sight. I love the hopeful version of you that still prays even when answers seem slow in coming. I love the doubtful version of you that wonders sometimes if any of this is real and if I am actually listening and if the things you have been believing for are ever actually going to happen. I am listening. I have always been listening. Every single word you have ever brought to me has been received. Every prayer you prayed with faith and every prayer you prayed with almost no faith left. Every tear that fell in private. Every groan that was too deep for words. Every moment you sat in your car before going inside because you needed one more minute to collect yourself before facing the world again. I was there in every single one of those moments. Closer than the air around you. More present than anything you could see or touch. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Psalm 56 verse 8. That is not poetry. That is a description of how attentively I have been watching over your life. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not the exception to my love. You are the reason I came. You specifically. If you had been the only person on earth who needed rescuing, I would have come for you alone. That is not an exaggeration. That is the mathematics of my love. It does not divide when more people are added to it. It multiplies. It reaches. It covers. It finds. And it found you today right here in this moment. Now I want to speak some things directly over your life. I want to speak to the fear first. Because I know it is there. I know it has been sitting inside you like an uninvited guest that you cannot seem to get rid of no matter how many times you try to push it out. The fear that things are not going to work out. The fear that the people you love are not safe. The fear that you have waited too long and missed something you cannot get back. The fear that you are not enough and never have been. The fear that runs underneath your daily life like a current that never fully turns off even on your best days. I am addressing that fear directly right now. I am looking it in the face on your behalf and I am declaring with the full authority of heaven that it does not belong in you and it does not get to stay. For God has not given us a spirit of fear but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. Read that again slowly. God has not given you fear. That means fear is not from me. It is not your inheritance. It is not part of what I purchased for you. It is an intrusion. It is a lie dressed up in the clothes of reality trying to convince you that the worst case scenario is the most likely one. And I am telling you today that it is not. The most likely scenario for your life is the one I wrote before you were born. The one where you come through this season stronger than when you entered it. The one where things that looked impossible from where you are standing right now turn out to have been preparation for something you could not yet see. The one where the tears you have been sowing in this difficult season become the seeds of a harvest that takes your breath away. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126 verse 5. I wrote that over your life before you understood what it meant. And I am confirming it over you again today. Now I want to speak to the weariness. I see how tired you are. Not just physically tired, though I know about that too, but the deeper kind of tired that sleep does not fix. The tired that comes from carrying too much for too long. The tired that comes from fighting battles no one else can fully see. The tired that comes from believing and hoping and praying and waiting and not yet seeing what you have been standing on faith for finally break through into the visible world. Come to me right now with that weariness. Do not clean it up first. Do not try to convert it into something more spiritual before you bring it to me. Just bring it exactly as it is. Come to me all you who are weary and burdened and I will give you rest. Matthew 11 verse 28. That rest I am offering you is not the rest of giving up. It is not the rest of surrendering your hope. It is the rest that comes from finally letting someone else carry the weight that was never designed for your shoulders in the first place. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. I care for you. Deeply. Personally. Specifically. I care about the details of your situation that feel too small to pray about. I care about the big overwhelming things that feel too large to fix. I care about all of it. Hand it over. Let me carry what I was built to carry while you walk in the lightness I always intended for you. Now let me speak about your identity. Because I know that this season has done something to how you see yourself. Difficult seasons have a way of doing that. They whisper things. They suggest things. They use your tiredness against you and your failures against you and your unmet needs against you to paint a picture of who you are that has nothing to do with what I actually see when I look at you. So let me tell you what I actually see. I see someone made in my image, carrying within them the DNA of the living God, marked before birth for a purpose so specific that nothing that has happened since could erase it or replace it or make it available to someone else. Before I formed you in the womb I knew you. Before you were born I set you apart. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. I knew you before the world had any input into who you would become. Before the labels. Before the wounds. Before the things that happened to you that you had no control over and that left their mark on you in ways you are still discovering. Before all of it I knew you and I loved what I saw and I have not changed my mind since. You are not your worst moment. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not defined by what was done to you or by what you did in seasons when. You are not yet who you are becoming. You are defined by what I say about you. And what I say about you is this. You are chosen. You are loved. You are called. You are capable of more than you have yet accessed. You are in the middle of a story that is still being written. And the author of that story does not write stories that end in defeat for the people who keep turning back to him. Now I want to speak to the disappointments you have been carrying. Because disappointment is a particular kind of weight. It is heavier than regular sadness because it comes with the added pressure of expectations that were not met. Hopes that were raised high and then did not land the way you needed them to. Prayers that seemed to be answered and then the answer changed. Doors that opened and then closed before you could walk fully through them. Plans that made complete sense on paper and then fell apart in ways you never saw coming. I know about every single one of those disappointments. I felt them with you when they happened. I watched them land on you. And I want to say something about them today that I need you to hear clearly. Your disappointments are not evidence that I have failed you. They are evidence that you are in a story. And stories have chapters that are painful before they have chapters that are beautiful. Every great testimony begins with a season that made no sense from the inside. Every great restoration begins with a loss that felt permanent. Every great breakthrough begins with a period of confusion where nothing seems to be moving and nothing seems to be working and the silence of heaven feels almost unbearable. You are in that period right now. And that means you are right on schedule. Not behind. Not forgotten. Not skipped over. Right on schedule for the story I am writing over your life. A story that does not end in the chapter you are currently in. A story that has more pages ahead of it than behind it. A story that is being shaped by every hard thing you have walked through in ways that will only become clear when you are standing on the other side of this season looking back at it with the perspective that distance and healing and breakthrough always bring. Hold on, my child. The next chapter is coming. Now I want to speak about your purpose. Because I know that this season has made it harder to see it. When you are tired and struggling and the ground beneath you does not feel stable, it is easy to lose sight of the reason you are here. Easy to start wondering if you missed something. If you took a wrong turn somewhere that you cannot find your way back from. If the life you imagined is still possible or if the window for it has quietly closed while you were dealing with everything else. Let me address that directly. You have not missed your purpose. You cannot miss your purpose. Not as long as you are still breathing. Not as long as you keep turning back toward me. Your purpose is not a destination you reach perfectly or not at all. It is a direction you move in. It is a way of being. It is the accumulation of every moment you chose love when it was hard and chose faith when it was scary and chose to show up when every part of you wanted to disappear. You are living your purpose right now even in this difficult season. Every time you pray when you do not feel like praying you are walking in your purpose. Every time you encourage someone else when you yourself are barely holding together you are walking in your purpose. Every time you choose to believe that what I said about you is more true than what your circumstances are saying about you, you are walking in your purpose. Do not despise this season. It is not a detour from your purpose. It is where your purpose is being forged. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. All things. Not some things. Not the comfortable things. Not the easy things that make sense and fit neatly into your plans. All things. The hard ones. The painful ones. The ones you would never have chosen. The ones that left marks on you. All of them are being worked together by a God who wastes nothing and who can take the most broken and shattered pieces of a life and build something from them that is more beautiful than what was there before the breaking. I am building something from your broken pieces right now. And what I am building is more sturdy and more beautiful and more useful than what would have existed if the breaking had never happened. This is not a consolation prize. This is the actual plan. The plan that looked from the outside like it was falling apart was actually being built from the inside in ways that are not yet fully visible. And when it becomes visible, it is going to take your breath away. Now I want to speak to your finances. Because I know that this has been a source of significant stress for you. The pressure of not having enough. The anxiety of watching the numbers and watching the needs and watching the gap between them refuse to close no matter how hard you work. The shame that sometimes comes along with financial struggle because the world has told you that your financial position is a reflection of your worth and your wisdom and your faith. Some of the most faithful people who have ever lived went through seasons of tremendous financial difficulty. It is not a sign that I have abandoned you. It is not a sign that you are outside my blessing. It is a season, and seasons change, and my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verse 19. That promise has not been canceled. It is active over your life right now. I see the need. I know the number. I know the date things are due and the amount that is required and the sources that are not yet producing what you need them to produce. And I am moving, not in the way you might expect. Not always through the channels you are watching. Sometimes through completely unexpected sources. Sometimes through ideas that come to you in the night. Sometimes through a conversation you did not plan to have. Sometimes through a door that opens from a direction you were not even looking in. But I am moving, and the provision I release into your life is going to be undeniably from me. Not just enough to survive. Enough to be generous. Enough to be a blessing to others. Enough to look back on this season of lack and use it as a testimony of my faithfulness. Now I want to speak to your physical body. I know about the things happening in your body that you have been carrying quietly. The symptoms you have not fully addressed. The pain that comes and goes. The exhaustion that goes deeper than sleep can fix. The health concerns that sit in the back of your mind and surface when everything else gets quiet. I am the God who heals. Not was. Am. Present tense. I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus 15 verse 26. That is my name. That is my nature. That is what I do. And I am releasing healing over your body right now. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Into every system and every organ and every cell. Into the places that have been struggling. Into the processes that have been failing. Into the areas of weakness. I speak life and health and restoration and wholeness over your physical body in my name right now. Receive that healing. Do not argue with it. Do not say you will believe it when you see it. Believe it now and watch it manifest in the visible. That is how faith works. By His wounds you have been healed. 1 Peter 2 verse 24. Past tense. Already done. Already purchased. Already yours. The only thing left is for you to receive it. Now I want to speak to the dreams you have almost given up on. The ones that used to burn brightly inside you and that have been dimming slowly through this long season of waiting and disappointment and delayed answers. The creative dream. The business dream. The ministry dream. The family dream. The dream of a different life than the one you are currently living. The dream you stopped talking about out loud because it started to feel embarrassing to still be holding onto something that showed no visible signs of becoming real. Do not let it go. I put that dream inside you. I do not plant things in people that I do not intend to water and grow and eventually bring to harvest. The fact that it is still there after everything this season has thrown at you is itself a sign. Dead things do not persist. Dead dreams do not keep coming back to the surface of your thoughts in quiet moments. That dream is alive. It is alive because I am keeping it alive. And it is coming, not in your timing perhaps, but in mine. And my timing is always better than yours even when it does not feel that way from inside the waiting. Delight yourself in the Lord and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37 verse 4. The desire is there because I put it there. And what I put there I intend to fulfill. And the timing will make more sense than you can currently imagine. You will look back one day and see clearly how the waiting shaped you into someone capable of carrying it well. You will be grateful not just for the dream itself but for the journey that brought you all the way to it. Now let me speak about what is coming. Because I know you have been waiting. I know the waiting has been harder than you expected when it first started. I know there have been moments when you wondered if the thing you have been believing for is ever actually going to arrive. I know the exhaustion of maintaining hope across seasons that go longer than you planned for. And I want you to know that I have not forgotten a single promise I made to you. Not one. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. Those plans were not cancelled by your mistakes. They were not given to someone else while you were struggling. They were not contingent on you being perfect or having enough faith on every single day of this journey. They are held in my hands. And my hands do not drop things. I am a God who keeps His word. God is not human that He should lie. Not a human being that He should change His mind. Does He speak and then not act? Does He promise and not fulfill? Numbers 23 verse 19. Every word I have ever spoken over your life I intend to bring to pass. Every seed of prayer you have planted in this season of tears is a seed in the ground. Seeds in the ground do not disappear. They work. They grow. They push through the darkness toward the surface. And when they break through they bring with them everything that was stored up during the long underground season. Your breakthrough is stored up. Everything you have been praying for and believing for and holding on for through this long and difficult chapter is stored in the ground of this season. And it is coming up. Not because you deserve it more than others or because you prayed perfectly or because you had no doubt along the way. It is coming up because I am faithful. Because I promised. Because, He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1 verse 6. That is not wishful thinking. That is the settled nature of who I am. Now I want to speak to the relationships that have caused you pain. I know about the people who let you down. The ones who were supposed to be there and were not. The ones who left when you needed them most. The ones whose words carved wounds into you that you have been trying to heal ever since. I know about the loneliness that comes from being surrounded by people but still feeling completely unseen. I know about the grief of losing someone. I know about the confusion of a relationship that should have been safe but was not. I see all of it. And I want you to know that none of it disqualifies you from what I have planned. People fail. People disappoint. People wound. But I do not. And every gap that a person has left in your life is a space I am moving into. Every place where you have felt abandoned I am planting myself. Every loneliness I am meeting with my presence. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13 verse 5. Not a conditional promise. Not dependent on your performance or your faith level on any given day. An absolute declaration from the God who cannot lie and who will not leave. I will not leave you. In the middle of this. In the waiting. In the confusion. In the moments when you cannot feel me at all and the silence feels like absence. I am not absent. I am present. More present in the silence than in the noise. More present in the waiting than in the arrival. More present in the breaking than in the breakthrough. And I am working in every single one of those spaces on your behalf. Father, let me pray over this child right now. You see everything they are carrying today. Every burden visible and invisible. Every wound healed and unhealed. Every dream still alive and every dream they quietly let go of because they ran out of strength to keep holding it. Meet them here, Father. Right here in this ordinary moment on an ordinary device in the middle of their ordinary day. Let this moment be extraordinary. Let your presence break through every wall they have built and every defense they have put up and reach the real and unguarded part of them that needs you most right now. Heal everything that is broken. Not just the surface things. Go deep, Father. Go into the rooms they keep locked. Go into the memories they avoid. Go into the wounds they have learned to work around instead of letting you work through. Heal it all from the inside out. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. Joel 2 verse 25. Every year that felt wasted. Every season that felt stolen. Every chapter that ended before it should have. Restore it all. Pressed down. Shaken together. Running over. Open every door that needs to open. The door they have been knocking on for years. The door that seems permanently closed from the outside. Open it, Father, with the authority of heaven, and hold it open long enough for them to walk all the way through it. And close every door that leads away from the plan you have for them, no matter how attractive it looks from the outside. Release provision into their life right now. Meet every financial need. Bring unexpected sources. Open supernatural channels. Let money come from directions they were not tracking and in amounts that make it undeniably clear that it came from you and not from their own effort. My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verse 19. That is a promise with my name on it. Surround them with the right people. Remove with grace whoever needs to be removed from their life. Bring with precision whoever they need for the next chapter. Let them recognize the divine connections when they arrive. Give them discernment to know the difference between people I send and people who come on their own. Protect them from wolves in the clothes of friends. And let the loneliness they have been carrying begin to lift today as they feel the warmth of your presence filling the spaces that people have left empty. Fill them with unshakable peace. The kind that makes no logical sense given the circumstances they are in. The kind that causes people around them to ask what is different about them. Let them carry that peace as a testimony that something real is happening inside them. And let fear find that it has no foothold left in a heart so full of the presence of God. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3 verse 20. Immeasurably more. Not barely enough. Not just enough to get by. Immeasurably more than the biggest thing they have been bold enough to ask for. That is what I am releasing over this child today. My child, before you go, I want to ask you to do something. Subscribe to this channel right now before this moment passes and the busyness of life pulls you away. This community exists for people exactly like you. People in the middle of difficult seasons who need a real word from a real God. People who are tired and waiting and hoping and still showing up every day. Subscribe and come back every time you need to be reminded of who you are and who I am and what I have planned for your life. Share this prayer with 10 people today. Not tomorrow. Today. Think of their faces right now. The ones who are struggling in silence. The ones who have gone quiet lately. The ones who are smiling on the outside but you know something is off. Send this to them personally with a message that says, I thought of you. Given it will be given to you. A good measure pressed down, shaken together and running over will be poured into your lap. Luke 6 verse 38. When you become a source of blessing, you open yourself up to receive blessing in the same measure you give it. Leave a comment below and tell me what part of this prayer spoke to you today. Your words matter. Someone else is going to scroll through those comments in their own dark moment, and your honesty is going to be the thing that helps them hold on. Do not underestimate the power of your testimony. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Revelation 12 verse 11. Your story is a weapon of light in the hands of God. My child, I love you. Not the version of you that has everything together. Not the version of you that performs well on good days. I love you. The real and complicated and tired and hoping and failing and getting back up again version of you. I love you with a love that was decided before you were born and that has not wavered for a single second since the day you first drew breath. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Matthew 28 verse 20. Always. In every season. In every silence. In every storm. In every waiting room and every sleepless night and every moment of breakthrough and every ordinary Tuesday that feels like nothing significant is happening but something is. I am with you. Go now. Carry my peace into everything that is waiting for you today. Carry my love into every room you walk into. Carry my authority into every situation that has been trying to intimidate you. And carry the certain knowledge that you are held by hands that have never let anyone fall. You are going to be okay. More than okay. You are going to be restored and strengthened and positioned and used and filled and overflowing with everything I promised you before you were born. I am not finished with you. Not even close. Amen.